Hello?
Hello.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Great.
I appreciate you taking a few minutes to do this and finding a place to do it.
Yeah, it's been hard to find good internet, so we're lucky we found it.
Well, I appreciate you doing that and appreciate you taking a few minutes. I know you guys are coming to the Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort in Mount Pleasant here in just a few weeks. And I had a chance to talk to Scott from Finger 11 a few weeks ago, and I asked him how they got hooked up with you for the song Blue Sky Mystery, because I assumed that you guys had some sort of history. He said there was no history. They just wanted a guest vocal on the track. They thought you'd be the perfect fit. You agreed to do it, and now you guys are on tour together. That's a pretty incredible story.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I mean, it was a great song, and I love those guys. They're my bros. Yeah, it was a lot of fun doing the song, and I'm really proud of it.
You've done a few guest spots here and there over the years, whether it's guest vocals, guest guitars, guest songwriter, whatever. How do you decide what you're going to work with, or who you're going to work with, what you're going to do, and maybe what you're not going to do?
Yeah, I look at every opportunity as like a great reason to do it. Like, for instance, when I got together with Health, I did the song Free to Die with them. And then I worked with Flyleaf as well back in I came out and we sang Pride together. Yeah, it's guest vocals are fun. I don't get asked a lot, but when I do, I always say yes. You know what I mean? Especially when it's like Finger 11 or, bands of that caliber. Sure.
So when you're not providing guest vocals to Finger 11, I assume you're putting the finishing touches on the next Filter album. I know you announced the name of the album last year. Where do we sort of stand on The Antidote?
The Antidote is pretty much almost done. I'm cutting it down from like 18 songs to like probably 12. It's a hard decision because there's so many great songs on the record, but it's in the final stages and I'm super proud of it. It's really a great record. It's probably going to come out this fall.
It'll be your 9th studio album at this point. You could just write the record, record the record, say, this is another Filter album. But you mentioned that you're actually working with a lot of different people on this album. Why is it important for you at this stage in your career, and maybe just in general, to have a bunch of different voices, different people in the room, sort of having these conversations with you when it comes to writing and recording?
I mean, it's weird. I mean, like there's a song called Snakes in the Grass, which was entirely by myself. And then there's songs that I write with like Sam Tenez. He's like a good friend of mine. He's one of my best friends. And we wrote a song called Hell in My Head, as well as another one called Panic Mode. I just love working with Sam. He's just a great lyricist. He's a great songwriter. And I do love collaboration. That's why I do guest vocal spots with other people. And any opportunity to just make some great art is kind of my MO.
Has there, in all the years you've been doing this, has there been one collaboration that stands out that maybe changed the way you've looked at things, changed the way you've done things, maybe affected you a little bit more than maybe some of the other ones?
Not really. I mean, I think it's fun to work. I worked with a kid named Zach Munowitz, who he did the song All the Good with us, as well as Your Bark is Bigger Than Your Bite on the new record, The Antidote. That was like pretty much just like he sent me the music and I just kind of arranged it and then I sang over the top of it. And it was just like getting my bandmates to kind of play along with that and having them like wrap their heads around some of this new gent music that we've been experimenting with. Like there's so many great opportunities out there if you look for them and if you just say, yes. And music is a constant exploration of creativity and you just want to constantly keep pressing the boundaries and keep moving forward musically.
I'm curious, when you talk about moving forward musically, obviously, you've been at this a long time and things have changed, and artificial intelligence, AI, its involvement now in everything we do is pretty incredible. I mean, bands now they won't record in a studio. They'll Dropbox, they'll Zoom together like we're doing right now to record songs. And then you're getting AI involved. And I'm curious how you feel about AI's involvement in music in the process as someone who's been, experimental over the years and tried different things. Where do you sit on the whole AI thing?
I'm a little on the fence. I had to do some work for TV. I did a song with Mark Isham called "The Westies," and I needed some Irish sounding lyrics, and I kind of put it into Chat GPT just to see what it came up with, and it was very interesting. I didn't use it, but I was very it was very interesting how quickly it just popped some crazy lyrics up. And so it's out there, and I know directors are using it for musical cues in their movies. I think it's a little sterile and weird, but I think it's going to progress, and I think it's going to be something that's going to be pretty huge. I hate to say it, but like, I mean, I'm still listening to Led Zeppelin and the Beatles and, the Clash and Skinny Puppy and then, today's artists Rezz and Scarlord. And I like humans. I like Billie Eilish. I like people that are like artistically talented, and to have my music come up, from, I mean, there's someone out there that's like, hey, let's do a song that sounds like Filter and make the lyrics about my son's birthday party. You know what I mean? And like, it'll do it, and it's crazy. So I'm a little on the fence. It's a little early for me to really have an opinion, but so far I'm kind of against it. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's kind of soulless and weird.
And it's got to be weird knowing that, yeah, somebody could make a birthday song and make it sound like Filter, and it could come out sounding like you, and yet you have nothing to do with it.
Yeah, that's insane. That's crazy.
If you're not working on the next Filter album, you're doing a whole bunch of other things, including this new project you just announced recently, which you've described as super heavy, in your face industrial music. How did A Place to Kill come together? And why was it important for you to do something sort of out of the realm of Filter again? I mean, you've done other stuff in the past. Why did this need to go under another umbrella?
Well, I was messing around with my computer and I was coming up with this really heavy industrial type stuff. And I have this friend named Jim LeBeau, who is just this insane screamo, crazy screamer, singer. And I call him a white noise generator because he's just like, it's so intense. I heard his voice all over it. And so I called him in and we started messing around with some music, and it just sounded amazing. And I just thought to myself, I did all the music and I co-sing some of this stuff with him, but it's basically me with a computer and like Jim. And I just thought, what an interesting band. It's just a guy with a computer and Jim LeBeau running around the stage screaming. So I figured it was just worth a shot. And when I played it for like my wife or like my friends, they were all like, this is absolutely amazing. You got to release this. So I just decided, I have a record company. Why not release it? So we're going to release it in June, and it's called A Place to Kill. And I'm really psyched about it.
What are the chances? I mean, the way you're describing it, obviously, it seems like it lends itself to a live show. What are the chances you take it out on the road?
I think they're pretty good. I think the fact that the production is so small that like it would make touring really easy, and it would be probably just me at TM / front of house / engineer tech with Jim, like 3 people crew. And we could just fly around the country and do our thing with a laptop. And I think it's pretty cool. It's kind of like the way Scarlord does it, or some other bands that we're into.
Yeah, certainly a way to keep the cost of production down when gas prices are sky high.
Yeah, I mean, for Filter, it's 9 people on the road, and it takes a lot of production costs to keep it going. And that's wonderful. And I love Filter, and I'm so grateful that people are coming and we can make a living at this. You know what I mean? Like, our shows are really dynamic and really fun, and it's because the audiences are so great. But yeah, I mean, you got to take stuff into like consideration for that stuff. You have to kind of, make sure that you're adapting to the new world we live in.
So before anything can really happen with A Place to Kill and playing shows, you've got these dates right now with Finger 11 and Local H. I mentioned Blue Sky Mystery earlier. Have you had the chance to jump on stage with Finger 11 at all? I know when
Not
Scott,
yet. I think it's pretty much going to happen. It's usually during their show I'm warming up and just kind of waking up my own voice. But we'll try and figure out something.
That's when I talked to Scott. He said, you know what? He's like, they're the headliners, so I don't know if it's going to be possible. Richard's warming up while we're on stage. Is it?
Yeah.
It'll happen at some point. We just don't know when.
Yeah, something might happen. Just come to the show and see and find out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you got to be at the Soaring Eagle coming up on March 27th. Check that out. Maybe it will happen in Mount Pleasant. Once you wrap up these dates with Figure 11, you guys are sailing the high seas again this year with the Summer of '99 tour, which you guys did last year. Now, do you play on a cruise ship? Do you play on an island? How does this whole cruise ship thing work?
No, you play in like different clubs inside the ship. There's like all kinds of places. There's theaters. You know, these ships are huge. And they've got like theaters, they've got like outdoor stages, they have indoor clubs, they have like all this crazy stuff. So, you know, I pretty much just kind of hang out in my room for the most part. I'm not really an outdoors like beach person, but you know, a lot of my bandmates have a lot of fun with it. So it's pretty cool. You know, you know, Creed's, they're good people, and you know, Scott Stapp we've played some shows with him, and you know, they're good folks. So we're looking forward to it.
I imagine it's got to be pretty wild to go from playing shows in arenas, clubs, theaters, whatever, to playing on a cruise ship, even though it's still in a theater, knowing that you're in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah, there was one time where we were in kind of choppy water or whatever, and you could feel the boat moving, and like it was funny. Like I jumped up and like I landed in a completely different spot than I was expecting, and like you know, you just have to kind of go with the ocean. You have to go with the flow. So it's a lot of fun.
That's wild. And then you'll be back on land. You're doing shows with Alter Bridge and festivals. It's crazy to think that, you know, you guys have been doing this for 30 years and like it's nonstop. I mean, Filter is still out there playing as many shows as possible.
Yeah, we love playing. It's been great. It's been an amazing life thanks to the fans. You know, I've had this incredible life of just running around the world playing music, and you know, I hope it doesn't stop anytime soon. I enjoy it. I love being with my friends, playing music. We've got it down. We're really good. Filter is a really good band right now, and it's because of my guys and Johnny Radke and Rotten Bobby and our new guy Ben Flanagan and Elias Mallon. They're all really amazing musicians, and they're sweet, and we have just the best time playing music, and they stick. They're really just amazing people to be in a band with, and you can tell because we just have a blast on stage.
That's incredible. You don't always hear that when it comes to bands who've been out on the road together for a long time. You know, you hear these stories of it being a business for a lot of people, and maybe it's not so fun, and maybe they don't see each other until they go on stage or whatever. So to hear you talk so glowingly about your bandmates and to tell people like, we're really, really good right now, you need to come see the show, is pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's been, you know, there's been a lot of people who have been in Filter. You know, the band started off as a recording project, you know, that I did in between Nine Inch Nails tours. And it was an 8-track and a drum machine and you know, on the first record. And then I fleshed it out into a band. But these guys that I'm with now are just the best. They, you know, they love the band, and they adhere to like what we were trying to do with the records, but they're also incredible. I use them all the time on the new music that we're doing, the algorithm. They're all over it. And they've been with me for like 10 years now. Bobby's been with me for like 10, 12 years. Johnny's been with me for like 15, 16 years. You know, Elias Mallon's been around for 12 years, you know. So, I mean, it's really good. It's a great version of the band, and I'm really super proud of it.
Yeah, and we're excited to see it March 27th at the Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort in Mount Pleasant. Richard Patrick Filter coming to town here in about a week and a half, man. We will see you here next Friday in Mount Pleasant.
Excellent. I can't wait to be there.